People deluded. Now, sadly, I say sadly because it's Spurs, but you guys know, apologies for that noise of my laptop. It's copy and pasting in something in the background. But you guys know I love young players. Like, that sounds so wrong every time I say that. But I like youth. I like to see them, not that sounds better. I like to see them develop and things like that. Troy Parrott of Spurs, Irish international, youth international. He's someone that Spurs should be quietly confident about. I'm not here to say he's going to be the next, that and the third, because you guys know that watch me on a regular basis, that's not my style. And what a player's projected to be and what they actually go and achieve, more often than not, are two different things. Potential is a big word. We've all got potential, both in football and we've all got potential in life. And sometimes I hope for all players, not just because he's at Spurs, but whether they play for Arsenal, Spurs or whatever, that they develop as far as they can. But sadly, there's injuries, there's not really being trusted by managers, there's not being given chances, there's style of play, there's all different injuries, there's all different reasons for players not getting to their potential, their level. Again, Spurs fans, they know their players better than me, so I'm not going to sit here and tell them about them. But what I like about him, he's a bad boy player. He's a striker. One thing I like about him, the main thing I like about him, young strikers, again, it's not just him. I do see a lot of people with the talent, but young strikers in particular, they have an issue with being able to play with their back to goal. He doesn't really have that. Like, he's stronger than his frame suggests. Like, he's very good at holding the ball, bringing people in. He's got good technical ability. I mean, have you seen the man hit a free kick? He can hit free kicks. Goal scorer, can score all sorts of goals, tap-ins. I've seen a couple with his head, couple good strikes. He's a striker, man. I mean, he's a good striker. He's born to score goals. I'm not here to gas him and things like that, but he's doing his thing. If you saw him against Poland for Ireland's under-17s as well, he's done his thing there. He obviously played at the Euro under-17s Championship. He was bought at this age, or just over a year ago, from an Irish side. I can't remember the name of it, by Spurs, and Spurs are doing all right in being able to pip size two Irish talents. I mean, Man United used to have that on Smash. I must admit, Irish talents really at Spurs haven't really worked out too well. If I remember, what's the one they used to say is the next Bell, McVoy or something like that? Don't know where he is. Obviously, they had McNeff. I can't say his name. McNeff. We have one at Arsenal, and they had his older brother at Spurs. So, yeah, he looks like he'll be the one to buck that trend, to be honest with you. There's something about these players born in the 2000s, the 2001s and 2002s, and he is one of them. Even if you saw his free kick against Scotland, I have to plug another free kick. Even if you saw his... he always finds a way to score. I'm so sure he scored recently against PSG for Spurs. He scored some good finishes with his 2 goals against West Ham, whenever that was. I'm so sure there was a game he scored 2 good goals against West Ham. He's a good striker, man. I'm not here, like I said, I'm not here to say he's going to be this, that and the third. And obviously it'll be a tough ask for him to... Any young player in any position at any top club is hard to break through, much less a striker. A striker is probably strikers. I'd say strikers and goalies, to be honest with you. Strikers, goalies and defenders. I think midfielders have it easier, specifically the wingers or strikers that can be used out wide. Because you can, I don't want to say coast through games, but you can get away with it. You put a young centre-half in there, he gets destroyed. You might never use him again. His confidence is shattered and his career is done. Young keepers, physically... collecting crosses, palming it out, they have issues with that. Strikers as well is tough, because if Spurs can't exactly throw him in there, I mean, by this logic, he's got to develop to a point where he's better than Kane, or a significant option within the side if he's not going to be better than Kane. And that's going to be a tough ask, because he's going to need to get to a level where Spurs can say, all right, cool, if you're not going to be our number one, again, I'm not putting a label on his potential, I'm just assuming that if he's going to be the number one and replace Kane and be a good strike force with Kane, who knows, that's great. But if he's not going to do that, it needs to be a thing where he can play a couple other roles as well, but it needs to be a thing where Spurs management or whoever can say, okay, cool, does he have can he hack it at the top level? Can he score at the top level? Obviously he's still 16, and if he was to get thrown in at 18, 19, 20, would have to... What you'd expect Kane to bring back in terms of goals, you might not necessarily expect him, because we know the age and stuff, but they'd have to have some confidence that he could play to a decent level and return a decent amount of goals if he was to be that sort of second choice. Because if you look at Spurs' squad, that's one thing he probably has going for him. There's not really that many good attacking options in my humble opinion anyways. I know Son is good, Son's good. There's Son. If you don't play Son, who is coming off the bench really and truly for Spurs? I mean... You've got Kane. I'm not talking about the bench thing anymore, but you've got Kane, you've got Lucas Moura, you've got Son, you've got Eriksen. I'm probably forgetting someone out, but you'd think Spurs need one more of them sort of player that they can count on, especially on the bench. I mean, what they bring on Llorente and everything's there off the bench. But if he could become that option, at least until he develops and gets up to speed with Premier League, then who knows? But I like the player. He's got a knack of scoring goals. I think you're born to score goals, and he's definitely that. I think if he makes it at Spurs or not, he's gonna that remains to be seen. But I think he's gonna have a good career at a good level, and definitely fare better in his career than some of the Spurs Irish players that have been there previously. And I think he'll play to a good level. But it's not just down to me to sit here and say this. It's down to him to work. It is what it is. Again, you guys know I don't overhype and say they're going to be this, that and the other, but he does look like a baller. You guys know I keep it true. He looks like a baller. Did he get sent off against Arsenal as well? It was a bit of a passion merchant, ain't he? He's got that Irish fire in his belly. That's what I like to see, that sort of stuff on football pitches as well. So we'll see, man. We'll see how he gets on. He's got good movement as well. So the core basis of what could make a good striker are there. It's just down to him to develop, man. I'm not gonna say he's this and that. Like, he's got all the tools to develop into a good player, as you've seen with the way I've spoken about him. But we'll see how he develops, man. He's 16 now. I'm not here to say he's going to be this, that, and the third. We'll see how he is at 18, 19, possibly 20. Again, he shouldn't be the finished article then. I hope he is, because I want to see players develop. But yeah, you want to see consistent progress, and Spurs fans have been here before with talented players. If he doesn't make it, or if he does make it, they'll be here again. Where a player doesn't make it, or does make it, similar to all clubs, we all do this. But yeah, man, I've got nothing more to say on that front, so I'm going to get out your hair. People, deluded, stay safe. I'm out.